Hello. Have you ever had an idea for a set that you would like to work with and then you can't find it? So that was me this morning. I was whirling around and I don't know where the couple sets are. So I've taken an abrupt turn on my ABCs idea. For the past several weeks, like way back to February, but 24, I guess it would be almost. We've been doing the ABCs of techniques. I'm Lori LaRose, and I do have a YouTube channel now with lots of great titling. So if you're interested in techniques, you can pop over to the YouTube channel and grab hashtags ABCs techniques to see all the different techniques. We are going to revisit one of them today as we do X marks the spot and working with watercolor wonder. Other question I have for you is, do you love to work with the stuff that you already have on your shelves, if you can find it? And would you love to join a really fun, dynamic group this summer and do a world-class tour of the world? Yes, that would be the world-class tour. No, it could be world-class without being a tour of the world. Anyways, we're doing a world tour this summer. So we're going to dig deep into our stashes and play and have fun with some techniques, travel around, learn a little bit about some geography, and have a fun summer. So virtually traveling the world with your stamps and creativity. So watch for the promos on that to get started here in July, and digging deep into your own stash so you are able to join from anywhere that you are in the world, because it is. The live Zoom recordings will be recorded for you to be able to catch up if your time zone's really different than mine, okay? All right, let's pop you down here. And I was also thinking, that's right, that I would also do, I will do comments, and in the comments there'll be whole threads on some organizational tips from everybody, what works, what doesn't, and have something like that going on as well throughout the summer. So there's a private Facebook group and a Zoom, and yes, there I am. It's a very lost Lori LaRose. That one's a little bit better. Lori LaRose here on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I have not been so good over there. And the last 3 weeks, I actually am an incentive trip earner. I must caveat with that it's like less than 1% of some 50,000 demos. About 400 demos earn an incentive trip, and I was one of those this year. And that was super fun. Classes that we teach, and fun new sets. So old and new mix here with me. All right, we're going to do, it's X marks the spot for X today. I had Viking sets, I have pirate sets. Do you think I could find either in any of them? No. So there it is. All right, I am going to, of course, turn this way. This is one of the challenges that you may get this summer, because one of my ways of knowing that I have or haven't used a stamp set, and this is pathetic because this is a very old stamp set and I love the idea of it like crazy, and I have never used it. So often I will peel off the this part, because usually there's more than one on here, and I put that in here. I'm not even sure if I need this one today, like for this set, but I'm going to just, it'll prove to me always that it's just one, and it can put back in here. So our rubber comes nicely like this. I have been a demonstrator for 23 years. And so we used to have to cut out our rubber from big, huge block like that, cut with big fat scissors. Here's my scissors right here. Dun, da, 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 and mount them onto a wooden block. So it's kind of fun not to have to do that anymore. I don't always put my, this guy on, so I just slide him in behind into here. A lot of times you'll see him flopping back and forth in between as well, but it fits nicely in there and no interference. Is that the word I'm trying to say? And then he's there if I ever do want to do something with him, i.e. even using him as a sticker perhaps at some point. No, I take that back. He doesn't work as a sticker. Okay, that is going back 23 years. When we used to mount them on the wood, of course, they totally could be a sticker. These guys are kind of sticky on both sides, so that wouldn't work. But these guys, I did use some of these as stickers. I once got, one time, I think, because I got an extra run of it or something. Anyways, forget that comment. Rewind. Okay, I'm actually going to do something that we did back. I think we might have done it on embossing, and I may have done resist. I also may have done it on R for resist, emboss resist, but I am going to do some embossing and resisting at this point. So taking my embossing buddy, I'm going to go over top of my piece of paper. This just gives a little less static to the situation and helps make things ready for the embossing powder. I recently cleaned my room. We are teasing different times. Friday night we do cocktails with Lori and we play games. Oh, I really have lost it. Oh my gosh, I have totally lost my mind. There it is. Oh my goodness. And if I can't find where I've put something because it's in a new place after like 10 years of having the room the same way, hi Carolyn, you are able to have a little drink. All right. So I was looking for my Versamark there, if you're wondering. I am going to put this guy straight down like that. If you have a Stamparatus, this would be a great time to use it on this big guy. We also have the big block, a big acrylic block. I think it's, honestly, to start with, where the heck is my guy? Oh, he's lost and gone forever. He was just right there. I wonder what I've done with him. That's odd. He should be. That you don't get to drink for that. He's just lost. Okay. We used to do every time I misplaced something. That was a different game. To begin with, if you are a starter stamper, you can still play along with me, FYI. Starting stampers totally do this technique because then you can save money to buy basically the stamp. The block is the same price as a stamp. So until you start stamping lots and think, I really need a big block for a few different reasons, that's the time to buy the big block. But at this point, this will work just super fine. If you have it down on something that sort of sticks as opposed to having it on a piece of paper, that also is a good idea. So on your desk, these glass mats are super fun. And I was suggesting during celebration that celebration's a party once a year for a couple months that you get rewards. Oh, and you know what? You still get rewards. So that's a nice segue. But for each $60 that you spend, you got to get free stuff. So this was a good purchase to get something free with it. Okay, so now I am just going to take this. The one challenge, of course, with this is how straight it's going to be. So it is the world. Does it matter how straight it is? I believe it does. So I'm from Canada. I would like Canada to be the way it's supposed to be, which I think is actually sort of like that. So cross our fingers that that's the way it's supposed to be. And then I'm just going to square this guy up. And okay, so I cut this down just a smidgen less than, and then I'm just lining it up so it's as straight as I want it to be. I didn't actually cut this cardstock the full 5 1/4, and clearly I needed that and then even more. This is a big stamp. Okay, so now I've just placed that easily there, and then I'm going to take a smaller stamp block. Wait, come on, block. And I'm just going to press down. Okay, and then if I really want to, I take another one and press on the other side. And the only reason I'm kind of doing 2 is so that I can make sure that I don't move it, right? So I'm just now rubbing all over. I'm just being a little bit careful that I don't bend the card stock because I don't want to bend it, right? Okay, so press down and then you will have your image. And then lift, ta-da! And isn't that beautiful? No, it's clear, so you can't really see it. Hi, Donna, how you doing, hon? I'm doing Emboss Resist. Oh, this is going to be really pretty. So I've chosen to I've pulled out my bronze, copper rather in our world now. It looks kind of like bronze. And you should have a little piece of copy paper. And you can either use a fresh piece or you can use something from your floor, depending on the state of your craft room. I'll use a fresh piece just for privacy. And I sprinkle very generously, like, okay, the whole thing, because it's all going to go back in, so it's no problem. And then I shift that around. I think for many of us, embossing was the thing. Just FYI, that started before I even started. Only because I just finished saying be careful. Did I miss half of Alaska? No, just with that. All right, so make sure that it's covered really good. You're happy with it. And then you can tunk it off a little tiny bit. And these little tiny, people will just think there's little tiny mountains in the water. No, I'm just teasing. I do use a paintbrush sometimes just to push away just this little tiny bit. I'm not, I didn't want to, you can really thunk it good because this is quite a big one and I think it's a little bit sketchy anyways. Oh, you know what? It is sketchy. So this looks like it's a distinctive stamp, it's called. And so that's why, okay, that makes sense. You guys are wondering what I have going on in my head. A lot of times when I have embossing, I will do this to the back of it. You'll see me really thunk it so that all the powder falls off. And then really between the embossing buddy, you don't really need to use this. I hesitated to do that because I knew there was these big patches that were quite light. And I was like, oh, but the reason that they're there is because of the way the ink actually is distributed. So I will tunk that and you'll see that it's a little bit less and it's meant to be that. It'll make it look prettier. Okay. All right. So there's that. And then all of the pieces are gone. Oh, did you see what I did? I don't usually do things like that. I just blew on my work. And then, of course, this is the one reason why people are probably like, except if you do something crazy and it's all over the place. Yes. And right now, life is a bit crazy. Oops, I don't know what that is. It's a little piece of broken something. I'm not sure if I can do this on with the camera in the way. But basically, all of it nearly goes back in. It's like that old Crisco commercial. Who can show their age by saying, oh no, that's Madge, you're soaking in it. But you know the Crisco commercial and they fried the chicken and they're like all but 1 tablespoon or something like that. So what they were saying was cook generously in the fry pot as if you could actually return it though after you've been frying in it. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, but I actually literally was blowing off that thing and I blew powder all over the place. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking last night about my mom. She used to make the best fried chicken. I don't know why she didn't make it anymore lately. Kind of interesting to me. The aunt, my cousins would have said, Auntie was known for making fried chicken. And yeah, that was not something that she was making lately. All right. Now that I've made a complete mess, hang on 1 second, you guys. I'm just laughing because good gracious, I don't know what I was thinking there. If you heat, of course, it will melt. It's not if you will build it, it will come. If you heat, it will come. It will melt. What a scatterbrain. I'm not surprised. I've been doing some odd things. All right. Okay, here we go. Back to our regular programmed thing. I was going pretty smooth there for a few seconds. All right, heat gun. And I think I have my phone. Okay, let's see how this one's gonna look. Pretty, I think. Hi, Kathy. How you doing, hon? All right, so I'll hold this down with some tweezers and away we go. This is gonna be noisy. I won't bother talking over top of it. I sometimes hold the gun away while it's running till it's just a little bit hotter. It'll give me a chance actually to have a little drink of tea. You ask, why do I hold it away for a few seconds? Just in case it decides just to want to blow randomly. If it's already sort of started to heat, I hold my gun quite still and run along. I chase my embossing. It's 1,000 little specks. It's better to just hold it firm, I think. Let it melt thoroughly. You don't want to over melt because it then just melts back into the page and flattens out. But if you heat it up part way and then move it away, then you're remelting a bigger spot, right? All right, so that is. That's very noisy on the screen, sorry. All right, so now some emboss resist. So we could have some fun now because I'm going to color. I could do blends. I can do watercoloring. I can do anything I want with ink. And it won't stick to last night I worked with Blueberry Bushel and Azure Afternoon for water, and I thought it was very pretty, so I'm going to do the same. And I think I'm going to do some watercoloring. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a combination, actually. I bring in a little tiny bit of blue. Look at me, I must have washed this recently. Woohoo! Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of this to begin with and then some watercoloring over top. Let's see what that looks like. Who's done that before? Starting off on my beautiful paper, good thing I cleaned it up or I'd have little copper. So I'm going to come around here. My edges will be nice and dark if I do it this way. What I'm thinking is I'll have some water splotching because I've got some ink laid down. That's my thought. So this is kind of nice because of course now okay, so full truth. Many of you are probably saying this. Is that really emboss resist, Laura? Because obviously you could just do it right over top. It's solid. I could have done it right over top. Yes, it is. You're correct. Sometimes I do look at things and I think, I feel like they emboss resist that, but really you could just do the copper right over top afterwards. I do think you get a slightly different, sometimes as it hits the edge, you get a different thing than you would otherwise, if that makes sense, because hitting the edge of something, I'll come up here and show you. Oh, I'm gonna get a big splotch there. Well, of course, I just made a big splotch. It'll be pretty. You watch and see. All right. So now I could leave it. I could do a couple extra dark spots, but I am curious what water's going to look like on here. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of watercoloring now at this point. And I mean, literally just a little bit because I'm going to use some of my tea water. So I can't re-dip. This will be a limited watercolor. And I'm just going to wash right across it and see what happens with that. Look at me hesitating. Wah! I really kind of like the way, I actually really like that on there. All right, here we go. I'm going to start here actually. Look, it's going to be awesome. You're like, did you literally just put your tea water on there? I did. Isn't that awesome? I like that too. Okay. All right. So I'm getting a little bit of run there. That's kind of neat. Dark in there. That's kind of fun. Okay, I kind of like that. Just going to come from here. I don't want those lines though. They don't add anything. All right, and I could add other colors or not. This is a little bit wet right now, but I think it'll be all fine. So I'm just going to close that up so it's out of the way in case I decide to blow paper. The one thing that did very effectively was cleaned off all of the ink residue off of my copper. Woohoo, that was fun. That was easy, as they might say. All right, so now if you have a big block, you could put that down for a second while you come up. Okay, so now I was thinking of putting something fun. Welcome everybody, hello, hello. Now I was thinking of putting something, so I pretended that when I was doing this, so X marks the spot, so a world map is a neat idea for the ABC techniques. Really, we just were stuck. Do you guys know an X technique that I could have done today because we weren't sure? I know several weeks ago, I was going to do this, like I am weeks since I've been on Thursdays, I feel like. I was off on the trip for 2 weeks. Something happened, I think, the week before. And we were talking about what is X marks the spot? Like what would, no, yes, X, just X. And somebody had a great idea on my Wednesday night class. And I was like, that's a great idea. I was all set to do it in the morning time, and something went haywire. I live on a farm here in Rocky Mountain House. And so it's not unusual. It's not unusual to be, for things like cows to get out or something. Okay, it is unusual. It happens. Let's put it that way. Anyways, I'm not sure what happened, but I know that I didn't get to do it that very next day. I feel like maybe I just even had an appointment. I did. Keisha put that I had physio. I think I did have a physio appointment. So away I went. Then I was on my trip. And I came back. And I've been quite busy since then. Yes. All right, here we go. That worked out actually not too bad. If I'd had, I should have put, that's where you could use your big block. So if you go back and watch the rerun, you'll learn how to stamp a large stamp without a block. And why would you need a big block anyways? This might be one time down the road you'd like it. One hint, very, very good cleaning hint. Leave this out for sure quickly. Versamark it's really nice if it cleans up. It cleans up really nice if you do it very quickly, not within the hour after stamping with it. It kind of dries a little tiny bit, and it becomes tacky. It's a little harder to clean off your stamps if you leave it till like the next day or 3 days later. I don't know how I would know that. How would I know? How would you know, Lori? And I could come a little bit tighter. I pretend like you need to see stuff like all over my desk. No, I know you don't need to see stuff, but I'm never positive how close you need to see this. So sorry, I could have done that whole segment a little bit closer. Note to self. I've only been doing this for about 3.5 years, 4 years now probably. Started doing it with 100 day dealio. You're wondering, why are you sitting there talking? I'm pretending I want this flat, which it's worked out. I also needed it to be dry, but I am going to actually curl it. So this will be good. And then I'm mounting it. There are no words on there. This is a great time to turn to your big stash and be like, what would I love? So I'm going to run a class, a world tour. So a world-class world tour, virtual, this summer. I'd love for you to join me. We are going to have some threads on how do you organize your stamps? How do you organize your sentiments? Do you pull out phrases that you know would be neat to have and have them within the system that you have for actually finding stuff? All right, I've got a weekend adventures. I think this is a new set. I love this set. So I mix the old and the new constantly. This is not available, the stamp set, so do not fall too much in love with it. But there are probably, most of the time there's alternatives to everything I do use from the old days, but okay. So because X marks the spot, love this place would actually be super cute. But also adventure starts here. Things to do, places to see, also fun. So this, you may see this a few times. Okay, we have not done this for a while, and actually I just was cleaning my room and it's probably somewhere down. We actually used to have a little tool for roughing up the sides, since many of you are probably in the same boat as me and not having any idea where that little tool would have gone. Using your snips, you can come along and rough up your edges. And you can rough it up as much or as little as you want. I just kind of want to curl the edges as opposed to really roughing them up. If they get a little tattered, that's okay. I like the dark blue that I have on the edges, so I'd like to kind of, if I scrape it too much off, it'll be gone. Going around the corners always were a little bit tricky. So we used to do so many vintage and grunge looks, and we really have gone away from that. I wonder if you Googled grunge, see how I'm now scraping off that edge? So I want to be careful of that. Now you know why I was sitting there waiting for it to dry. And yes, I could have hit it with the gun, the heat gun, and I still could hit it a little tiny bit with the heat gun right now because it's still a little damp. When you have embossing on your paper, you want to be a little bit careful how much heat you add to the paper. So if you're just coming on, because I see eyeballs coming on and going. I was pretending I was doing emboss resist, and I'm sure people were like scratching their heads like, yeah, you resisted it, but did you need to? So I was trying to say that there was a difference when it goes up to the embossing. Yeah, I think there is a difference whether you emboss before or after. Okay. And that's all very pretty, don't you think? Okay. So I think twine's gonna look pretty on this. So I will say I did take a peek when I couldn't find my Vikings. And, oh, I know where. I have a whole big bowl of twine. Again, we are going to have threads of how do you store stuff. Through the summer, there'll be a private Facebook group. And that is how I'm storing mine right now. It's a new idea to me. Oh, I have this gorgeous color with no end. Hello? I'm not even sure if it'll look good. That's what I really need to see. Come, my little end, come to me. I'm just making a mess. The light is in my eyeball. Hold on just 1 second. Oh, that looks okay. There's a blue. That's not as nice. Darker blue would be nice. Okay, this was a beautiful set. So see the difference between those? Possibly this might be considered misty. I don't know what was with this twine, but it was stunning because of it had like the sheen to it, right? That actually might be very pretty. And then what was the third color of that one? This green, also gorgeous. I was thinking, okay, I wasn't thinking. I saw this color of twine. And it also, oh, it's kind of blah after I did the other. Okay. So, what do you guys think? The mass of copper. It's a lot of copper on copper. Or, and I'm not going to make the same mess here. I don't know where the end is on this. It's kind of sad. I will have a short piece at some point. Or this pretty blue seems to, oh, I don't know. Then I could stamp in blue. Get to see my indecision. I cannot believe that I did this. I'm not sure that it's ever happened before. Okay, that's that one. I think I like this. I think that's kind of cool. I'm going to go with that one. It's a good thing I'll get to cut this eventually. Sort of sad, you guys. Okay, you're going to see a totally cheater thing because of my wreck here. Things running around. Okay, okie smoky pokies. Okay, normally you just wrap and wrap and wrap, but because of my string faux pas, I'm just going to turn this over. I'm going to apply tape. It saved me like 4 inches that I just didn't have on the edge there, right? So I'm not really saving twine in this case. I'm just literally working with the piece of twine that I had. The length of twine that I had. Let's go with that. Now that is there, but I don't know why this is loose here. I know I didn't like it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is not a, what am I trying to say? This is not a hack for saving your twine. Like you're saving literally inches, but it is just a way to work with what I had. So then I just cut this little piece here. So I'm really, you know what I mean. And I'm just going to tie a little knot here. I could even tie a bow actually at this point. Of so much twine. Oh, look at that. We'll tie a bow just for the sake of tying a bow because I can. still have so much. So with twine, you can straighten it. Just FYI. And if it's still driving me crazy in a little tiny bit when I mount it, I can put a little tiny bit glue dot and see that if that makes a difference. I actually think it's the sproing. Okay, so I got to mount that down. I think I'm going to put it just on a piece of white cardstock, and so I will. So I like to cut my cardstock when I'm doing a horizontal card. I actually cut it at 4 1/4 and score it at 5 1/2, so that I have it this way. And you will, if you're watching replays of my stuff, you will see that I often just fold my cardstock and use my bone folder and Bob's your uncle kind of thing. But when I've got this shape of card, you're going against the grains a little tiny bit more, so it's always a good idea to score when you're doing it this way. Still a good idea always to use your bone folder. Nice. Nice, okay. And then I will put, now this just becomes your creative. How much more do you want? Up and down and around. And you want a corner turns more. You want to roll that corner a bit. You want to put a wrinkle in it on purpose. You want it to be sort of a tattered mat. Your choice now. Neat, a kind of a fun idea because this is such a solid stamp. I could probably put it in the freezer and it freezes the embossing powder. As soon as you bring it out, like the very minute, I could crack it. And just even by doing that, then you'd get little cracks in your map, which might be kind of neat. But that's enough distressing for me. It's subtle, but it's there, and I kind of like it. Now words. We had a set that said, "You mean the world to me." That would have been nice. And a nice long one. Oh, I had this. Never mind. I took that out already. Well, again, my brain is not quite there. Things to do, places to see. Okay, so I will say this is an 85%er. Watch when I open it up. Blah, blah, blah. That adventure begins here. It was already too big in my mind. It is definitely. That's actually an embossing situation right there. And that would make a really, really fun card. That also would be a really fun one if you would like to do a X marks the spot. That would work out well. Oh, I didn't clean that very well. I did a really fun card with that, with one of the line sets, now that I'm thinking of it. This is such a cute set. Stink, I like it. Okay, taking the scenic route. No, love this place. Love this place, it's kind of fun. Things to do, places to see. That's how I'm gonna like that one. And the next time somebody I know is traveling, they can get this card. So, I feel like I might need to emboss this again. I really do think I need to emboss it. I'm going to just stamp it in blueberry bushel at this point and see how that goes. Get on a piece of white and see how that goes. There's a lot of seeing how it goes. And how is that going to be? So this one also, I did baby wipes right at the beginning of the ABCs, obviously, baby wipes. And I have to say, this stamp set also would be really well used with baby wipes technique. So again, you can go over to the YouTube channel and search up. If you go to my channel, I think within the channel, you can search within the channel and do baby wipes. Or you can hashtag probably baby wipe techniques, maybe baby wipe stamps. Let me know. I can find you the link is what I guess I'm trying to say. And you can see what I did that day. I'm going to go up here because the places to see didn't seem like it was on a straight. So I went instead, oops, don't rock your stamps, that's bad. I did instead on the top, hoping that's straight so I don't have to cut two sides, just one. Did I get it straight? So. Okay, so this is how I sometimes do it, stamping to see what I need. Woot, woot. And I'll go and chop that down now. I'll be right back. I think another thread that I will probably put on the group site is how do you make out which dies are your favorite for sentiments? Because I do find that I do a lot of rectangles without anything. I have several sets that I love. They're, we call it. So now I'm having a tough time as I go to glue this down, how much of that bending I'm going to lose. So I feel like I have to pop it up on quite a few dimensionals. Because I feel like if I glue it, will I lose, right? It's going to be glued down and I'm going to lose that look that I'm looking for. So I'm going to turn it over and put on a ton of dimensionals. Sorry, I just thought I just had a sheet. Here they are. Oh, perfect. This is a great one. So I'm going to put, and then again, I'm going to avoid? I'm going to avoid the corners actually to allow that. And then with those great scissors that I just had here, didn't I just show you here's my cutting scissors. I love Stampin' Up's dimensionals because of these edges too. No wasted space, no kind of weird ones at the end. There's quite a few circles out there. And you take the circles out, A, they're really hard to get out, and B, afterwards you have this whole big rickety rack. I know they use it all up as well, the same way as we are right now, but they're just not as easy and smooth to work with as our dimensionals are. And such a nice height. All right, so now I will be able to sneak in a couple where I think I might need them. Let's see, because I have quite a few on here, if I can do that professional looking thing that people do. No, but practice makes perfect, they say. So the pick a tool is quite fun. And when your nails are being naughty, like mine are lately, and peeling, then this works better. Okay, let's see how this looks. Mount it on here, square it up, be straight. I don't usually glue things down. You guys are kind of lucky today. Nothing the whole card. Okay, I'm going to put one in here so you can see how I do this. So I'm going to take off the top. I'm going to try to take off the top. And then I use this as a bit of a tweezers, and I can just come in here. In this case, because it's totally folded and it's not on the edge, it's pretty easy. But that then allows me to have that little fold a little tiny bit more. Okay. And then I definitely need to rough this guy up, but I think I can leave him just plain white. He is very large. So I do need to cut this guy down. And I need this to be roughed up. And I can make the choice of cutting it off a little tiny bit if I'd like to, but I'm just going to rough him up. And I'm going to rough him up more than the rest of it I did, because I like that blue edging. And then I'll glue that guy on top of there. Crisscrossy things. Throw that down. Quiet it is. Okay. for South America. That is the latest place that we were. We're just to Uruguay. I could have shown you. It's right there. All right, there is my little card. And a couple gems might actually be nice as well. Gem situation is always interesting. I do like these bokehs right now. So let's pull some of them out. Perfect. Go, go. I think I'll just scatter them around like that. All right, there we go, missus. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am Lori LaRose of Active Stamping, and you are watching my ABCs of Techniques. Okay, I will be back. Let's have cocktails tomorrow night, Friday at 8 p.m. Party. Look at me looking at my thing. Yep, I think I'm good. All right, you guys, I will talk with you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.